Namaskar. Welcome to our channel Bio by Gulab Sir for Wisdom Coaching Center. As a part of series of lectures, we had learned about glycolysis, Krebs cycle and electron transport system. As well as we understood how ATP molecules are produced and what is the destiny of oxygen. What we inhale or every living organism, those who respire aerobically, in them what is the destiny of oxygen to control the proton H positive ion concentration. Now we do respire and there are different respiratory substrates. These respiratory substrates are glucose, fat, organic acid, protein. Now as we know that we require energy, and very often that glucose is a respiratory substrate, and as it required less oxygen to be broken and release the energy. Therefore, when we have glucose along with fat, protein, glucose are the first to get oxidized. Fat remains stored. And as and when we have sweet fried, oil fried food material or ghee fried food material, naturally that sweet carbohydrate, glucose, get oxidized first by the time fat get deposited. But when we are on fasting, when we do not take food, then naturally that store fat supposed to undergo oxidation and then to produce the energy. So as to have long fasting, then glucose is also finished, fat is also finished. So what is left? That is protein, and therefore protein becomes substrate as a respiratory substrate so as to undergo oxidation and release energy. It is the final one, and therefore it is shown here that fat, carbohydrate and protein are being oxidized, and finally the common product is acetyl-CoA. So I did explain that why glucose first oxidized, then fat and then protein. As glucose requires less oxygen, so it immediately get oxidized and released that energy during process which required for our normal metabolism. Now to understand, is respiratory a catabolic pathway or amphibolic pathway or both catabolic and anabolic? As we know that respiration is a breakdown, is an oxidation, and therefore it has to be a catabolic process. To understand as a catabolic process, that here as a carbohydrate, glucose undergo breakdown and produce pyruvic acid. In absence of glucose, fat undergo breakdown, that fatty acid undergo oxidation and finally produces pyruvic acid and acetyl-CoA. In absence of fat, protein undergo breakdown, produces amino acid, finally converted to pyruvic acid, and which is a common substrate for Krebs cycle to release the energy. So this can be called as a catabolism, as these complex molecules, fat, carbohydrate, that is glucose and protein, are undergo breakdown and produce the pyruvic acid as a final product which enter into Krebs cycle as acetyl-CoA and release the energy. So naturally, because of that breakdown, so during respiration, major part is breakdown of complex organic compound or oxidation, breakdown in absence of and in presence of oxidation. Now this is called as catabolic process. That breakdown is known as catabolic process. Now as and when body required fat, these acetyl-CoA is being withdrawn to regenerate fatty acid and fat. As and when body may require, this amphibolic pathway came to an light. When body require fat, acetyl-CoA is withdrawn. That means it is a reversible process. As it was a catabolic process, now when acetyl-CoA is withdrawn, can be called as a anabolic. This, when we withdraw, this is a anabolic reaction. So now when acetyl-CoA is withdrawn from that catabolic process for the synthesis of fat as required by body, tissue, organ system or body is an anabolic process. Therefore, together this entire process can be called as amphibolic process. So, respiration is nothing but amphibolic process, as both catabolic and anabolic reactions are occurring together. So, if question asks why respiration is known as amphibolic process, it can be said that major part of the respiration reaction is catabolic, but as and when fat are required for the body, acetyl-CoA is withdrawn and converted into fat as to complete the need of body is reversible process to the catabolic. Hence, it is an anabolic process to regenerate fat once again, and therefore together respiration is called as amphibolic pathway. I hope you understood. This diagram you have to practice. Question may be asked regarding this substrate given in the amphibolic pathway: A, B, C, D, E. What is E? What is D? What is B? What is C? Or in a given diagram, A, B, C, D, R, like this can be asked. Moreover, what is the common for all this path? Breakdown of fat, glucose and protein is here acetyl-CoA. So acetyl-CoA is common because after breakdown of all these three, pyruvic acid converted into acetyl-CoA. No doubt pyruvic acid is the final product of that breakdown which is supposed to enter into the Krebs cycle. But pyruvic acid finally converted to acetyl-CoA, which become the part of Krebs cycle. So as a part of catabolic, final product of these three is pyruvic acid. As a part of anabolic, that pyruvic acid is converted into acetyl-CoA, which may withdraw into the cycle to regenerate the fat, and hence it is amphibolic pathway. I hope you did understand. Even if you are in doubt, you can ask in comment section. I appeal you to like our channel as well as subscribe it and press bell icon so as to get notified and receive all the videos uploaded time to time. Thank you.